Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is everybody's watching this video, but Natasha, we're here for our shift series and we are on tactic number 4. Tell me what tactic number 4 is.
Tactic number 4 is all about finding the motivated.
Yeah, so what's that?
That is people who are looking to buy or sell right now.
Yeah, and are motivated to do it.
They're motivated to make it happen.
Yeah. So the looky-loos, the people that are saying, hey, I might buy next year, or I might sell my house next year. That's not really what this chapter is about, right? This chapter is about, hey, I have a need to either buy or sell real estate in the next 30 to 60 days. And I need to find you if I'm a real estate professional. And I need to find people that are ready to move today. And how do we do that? And that's really what we're going to break down, right? So I'm going to throw you a question, but let me set it up first. The question is Gary makes mention in the book Shift that absolutely time block 3+ hours every day to ensure this gets done. Full transparency, everybody I talk to, including myself, and I would almost venture to say you as well, this is a hard concept. Time blocking is a hard concept. And most people challenge or struggle mentally with this concept. Walk us through it.
I think it's the time blocking concept is no different in any industry, in any business, right? Because it forces us to do things that may or may not be natural to our behavior. It requires us to have discipline, right? That dirty word that we don't like. It requires discipline, but for a very short amount of time. When you think about 24 hours in a day, asking you to have that discipline for about 3 hours is really not bad. And in a shifted market, that 3 might become 4 or 3.5 hours.
Sure.
And yet when we say, I think challenge is not only the time blocking, the challenge is the word lead generation. Because when we say lead generation, our agents hear something different. And what a lot of agents hear when they hear the word lead gen is they hear cold call prospecting. That's not what we're saying. Now, it might be what you like and what you're going to go do, and fantastic, but it's not what we're saying. We're saying find a way and a type of business that you want to do, that you're committed to do, that you're willing to do for 3 hours a day in order to grow your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about focusing on your rocks, right? And that's really what we're saying. Put your rocks inside this 3-hour time block. However, we've all kind of seen those I don't know if they're sales videos or leadership videos on YouTube where they have the jar and they're putting the rocks and the pebbles and the sand and the water, and it doesn't really fit in the jar because they put it out of order. That's one of my favorite things to do,
teach people.
Yeah. So the whole point is to identify what the big rocks are and put those in the jar first, or do those first in your business. There's so many different books that have been out, like Brian Tracy wrote a book called Eat That Frog. Gary Keller wrote a book called The One Thing. Really frame up what is a big rock that I need to put inside that time block that we're talking about here.
Yeah, so, and again, for our business specific, it's lead generation, because nothing happens until we've generated a lead. That's the beginning of, like, that would be our first domino, if you will, in order to move our businesses forward. And so if that's our big rock and the first thing we have to do, that's what needs to be inside of that time blocked bracket.
Yeah. And so lead generation could be anything from door knocking to cold calling to, there's so many lists. We can give you a list of all the different activities. But I think what people need to also hear from us today, Natasha, is we are not telling you to do the whole list. We're not telling you to do half the list. We're telling you to go find a few good strategies and go big with them.
Yeah, start with one, master that strategy, then layer on a second, pull the third lever after that. You know, for some agents, about 3 sources is what they do. Others expand to about 5. But beyond that, you're now watering it down. You're not going to be great at all of those things. So find the areas that are natural for you, or that you have an opportunity in, and that's what you need to focus on and
100%.
Double down on those.
So, you know, we talk about this 10,000 hour journey to mastery, right? Well, you're not going to be able to have 4 or 5 different journeys to mastery going on at the same time, because time is a limited resource. You need to figure out pretty early on what your main thing's going to be around lead generation and go big with it. And that's where a great coach or a great leader can show up in your life and help people really figure those things out. But most of our successful agents, if you really pulled the curtain back on their business, they've all succeeded with pretty one big lead generation strategy. It may look different today because they've added extra arms, but in the beginning, they went big with one, right? And that's really what we're talking about here, is time blocking for lead generation and not diluting the results by trying to do too many things, yet focusing on the select few that you can do really, really well. Your superpower, right?
100%. It's finding your superpower, whatever that is. So if you're better face-to-face, then choose one of the items on our list here that is a face-to-face opportunity. But maybe face-to-face is not your superpower. Maybe you are an amazing converter on the phone. Then choose one of those, of course, in a do not call compliant way.
Yes, please. All right, so there's another big concept in this chapter called the MOFR, which I always kind of joke at the word, but what MOFR, MOFIR, stands for Make Offer for Immediate Response. And what it is, basically, you might have heard it called a call to action, which is a marketing term. However, a MOFR is very much a lead generation message that says, take action now, consumer, because what we're really looking to find, Natascha, are the people that are looking to buy in the next 30 to 60 days or sell in the next 30 to 60 days, not the ones a year from now, right? Tell me how you think about MOFRs.
I think about it in two ways, right? So we have the opportunity to do a direct offer or an indirect offer. They're really two different ways to do that. And so some things like an indirect offer might be, call me for a free CMA, right? That's indirect. There's no time limit on it. And it's just kind of like, I'll offer you my services. Or maybe it's a free report, or maybe the latest one that we've all been doing is the equity analysis, right?
Sure.
So it's indirect. Now there's also a direct way to do it. And so that would be something like a guaranteed sale, right? Guarantee you an offer on your home if you list with me now. Maybe it's a free staging report if you list in the next 30 days. That would be something more of a direct offer. And so the recommendation would be to run more than one, right? Run multiple at the same time, because you're attracting a different type of consumer with that lure that you're putting out.
Absolutely. Some other ones I've thought of were like, the power buyer message could be, hey, you can go ahead and buy your next house before you sell your current one. Or we've seen stuff like, hey, get a pre-inspection, I'll pay for the pre-inspection. You made mention of staging. That's a big shift term too. There's some crazy ones out there like, hey, I'll send you on a cruise if you call me in the next 30 days to list your house. Or you can get crazy creative. And we're not here to tell you how to do it. We're just here to say, when you're looking to make your business move fast, you need to be aggressive in your messaging, not passive in your messaging. And that's really what this is about, is saying, what is going to cause a consumer to raise their hand or call you and say, I'm interested in buying or selling in the next 30 to 60 days. And that's what that call to action or that MOFR is really geared to create, right?
Yep, absolutely. I hear the word MOFR and I think moat. And I think, okay, I'm putting a moat around my business by constantly adding people to my business. That's what I hear when I hear the word.
Absolutely. So Gary talks on page 58 about the 2 M's, and the 2 M's are, what's your message? That's really kind of what the MOFR is, right? Like, what is the message you're putting out there to either cause people to engage you for immediate response or a delayed response, which is, hey, you need a vendor list, or if you're looking for an equity analysis on your home, or I can help you fight your taxes. Maybe you're not actually looking to buy or sell in the next 60 days, but I want you in my network. That message is really important in how you put it out there. And then the method, right? Social media, is a big method to get to a bunch of people in your network, but there's so many other methods, right? Like we drive around town, see billboards, television, radio, direct mail. There's so many methods to reach people, yet remember, it's not about diluting your efforts, but focusing your efforts on what works best for you and your business.
Yeah, and so when you think about method, I always think about prospect and market, right? And then Gary kind of talks about that in the book. And so in a shifted market, we want to make sure that we are prospecting based, marketing enhanced. And so that those two different things, right? So prospecting and marketing, and they go hand in hand and they can support each other. So if we're doing outbound prospect of any sort, we should be adding and layering in that marketing, whether it's social media, community, event news, all of that, layering it together.
Absolutely. And another big concept in this chapter is open houses. And we're going to do a supplemental video around how to go really deep into open houses. But just kind of the teaser around it is open houses is really one of the tried and true ways to bring people into your organization, into your network, into your influence, to find people to buy and sell real estate, right?
Open houses is a great opportunity. As a matter of fact, open houses is one of the things you should all be doing right now, because it's the first sign that we start seeing, right? One of the things Gary just shared is like, where do you find the signs that things are changing? That open house is one of the first places.
100%. And most agents do a very light open house, meaning they do very little advertising, very little effort into it, and they get very little results as a result of it. And we're going to talk to you about how to go deep and how to get as much out of that open house opportunity as possible. So stay tuned for our supplemental video. But in the meantime, our 3 questions we want you to discuss this week are, remember your message matters, question number 1. So write out 3 MOFers, make offers for immediate response, you could use in this market today.
Question number 2 is all around your lead gen sources. So we want you to write out your top 10 lead sources. Then we want you to eliminate your bottom 5 and double down on your first 5.
I love it. In other words, don't do them all, right?
Right, yeah.
Question number 3. What one thing could you implement to improve your open house beyond just the basic? Natascha, find the motivated.
Absolutely. Everyone out there, get your MOFers together and get them out. We'll see you all next week.